the essence of it's the quintessence of everything. So why we can't learn that something? And then, of course, when we do this, well, that's the perfection. Prabhupada concludes at the end. That is the highest perfection of yoga practice, being senses under full control, bringing mind under full control. And how that can be done? By giving them something better, by engaging them in Krishna service. So if we don't engage in Krishna service, we don't study a little bit all these different understandings of the same verses from the, like we have these commentaries of the acharyas. Let's see about the nectar. So many different kinds of realizations that they have, insights about the same thing. How much that will help us, to appreciate and to understand, and then even more important, to apply this knowledge. Because what is the use of knowledge if you can't utilize it? No. So therefore, one who has mind and senses under control, the Prabhupada points, he's called Swami or Goswami. Otherwise, you'll be dragged like any other animal by your senses, by your mind. You already have that experience where your senses are absolutely uncontrolled, and then you can do anything practically like any other animal, just does whatever is dictated by its senses, by the urges. That's not human likeness. So what do we want? We really want to have human life or divine life, even more than that? Or we want to have animal life, where we have no control over mind, we have no control over senses. We are just dragged by them anyway, those senses want to be dragging us. So what do we want? We want to take control or we want to be controlled? What is better? What is better? So it's up to you. You want to be controlled, and then anytime mind says, I want this, I need that. You have that experience? You have that experience? Sometimes you have some urge, any kind of urge, and it just go wild, and you think, I have to fulfill that urge. And it's so uncontrollable that it practically leads one to madness. And even if one fulfills that urge, what happens more? Then the urge grows, becomes greater, and it creates more disturbance and pressure and so many other things. People who are addicts in anything, addicts in gambling, addicts in pornography, intoxication, anything. How much they have to suffer, how much they are suffering, how much they are suffering. They can't control any of those. We are not any way better just because we are not extreme addicts of anything, maybe, or maybe we are. Whatever situation is, it's such a pitiable circumstance. It's such a pitiable situation. When you're dragged by the senses and you're forced and you know that it's bad and then it's going to make you suffer, but still you're compelled to do it. You're forced. You have no ability to withdraw yourself. But what kind of life is this? That's an animal life. That's an animal life. You know it's bad. It's just like that moth that rushes into fire, starts burning, it still enters the fires and loses its life. Can't resist that light, can't resist the heat. So attracted. So we are so attracted by sinful life and engaging our senses in so many horrible ways we can't move back. What a pitiful situation. And that's why if we don't learn how to control mind and the senses, then yes, then you get another kind of body which will be controlled by the mind. And that's not going to be human body. So why we can't learn a little bit something? Why we don't give our intelligence some higher knowledge? Why we can't give our mind some higher experience? Why we can't give our senses some better taste and Krishna consciousness? Rather than being controlled by them, we control them and give them something better. And they still get what they want, but they get it in a better way, in a purifying way, in an elevating way. That's what's Krishna consciousness. So that's what Prabhupada is pointing. He said the Goswami knows the standard of sense happiness. That's the happiness means when you're fully blissful and you have things under your control. Even when you sometimes think that you can try to enjoy whatever and you don't have it under control, what kind of enjoyment is that? What kind of enjoyment is that? Anyway, there are billions of examples that you can think of yourself, how you are exploited by your own urges. So if you want to be Krishna conscious, but then we have to dedicate ourselves. Learn something. That's why we are here. We are here to learn something. If you don't learn, you'll commit same mistakes. And then you'll get even greater reactions. You have to learn something. Maya is not going to forgive you. Why would she? Laws are acting. It's our duty to know how the laws are acting. It's our duty to understand how we should behave, interact. That's our duty. You can't say, oh, I didn't know. But you're supposed to know. That's why we have these ultimate laws of material nature. Krishna is giving us. But then why we are not taking advantage? Why we are not learning? And then next time your mind drags you here and there and puts you in so many difficulties, so many hellish situations that, oh, now what to do? Now what to do? Well, why you didn't learn it? Why you allowed your mind to place you in such circumstances in the first place? And then whole life can be gone, just like this, finished. And you won't be able to come out of it. Trapped. So please take this seriously. Okay, any questions about this? Okay, any other questions? Yes.
You also have translate.
Who has?
You also. He's there. So he's telling we are trying to do bhakti, but our mind is pulling us back. So how we should?
But what did I talk last half an hour at least? You got the service, you got the commentaries. Why you didn't prepare? You start with this first, and then we'll see something else. You even receive the service, you get the service, and then you're not taking it seriously. But then where is the question of controlling the mind?
Telling I understand, but I am not able to take.
That means lazy. That means absolutely irresponsible. Then nothing. Then you will be for you don't want to study Gita, then you study all these other things outside. No problem. Very nice. If that's what you want, that's what you get. If you don't want to study absolute knowledge, then you study all kinds of other whatever expression we don't want to use. You can't give 5 minutes to Krishna, but then don't expect much from a human life. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Yeah.
We read and learn so many times, but we do not remember that. We learn something from Bhagavad Gita, but we do not remember that.
Well, why you not remember? You see what else you're doing in life, what you shouldn't be doing, and try to reduce that. So the next time you're hearing about Bhagavad Gita, your absorption and your, you know, focus and concentration will be greater and better for the benefit. That's all. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Prabhuji, sometimes sadhana and seva it's contradict. At the sadhana time there are some service.
Yes.
And okay, like let's say like
So one has to learn in life to be flexible, like a bamboo. You bend when it's possible, and then you get straight when it's possible. That's you'll have to learn that in life. Nothing's ever gonna be straight and as expected. Nothing. Nothing in life. You have to learn. Once Tamokrishna Maharaj, he was very, like any young person, pretty much very idealistic, very opportunistic. And before he became a devotee, and of course he had a lot of negative experience with material life, and he just developed certain conceptions and ideas, and said, "This is okay. This is how I'm going to live my life." And then he came across one elderly person, and he had a discussion with him. And he said, "I'm leaving this city. I'm just going to, live a completely different life." He had certain conceptions. And then this person told him he was, double of his age or whatever, in his late 40s or something. And he told him that what I learned in life is that you will have to compromise. You will have to learn to compromise. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj responded. He said, of course, that time was not even devotee what to speak of Maharaj or anything. He said, "Never. I will never compromise." He said, "Never. Whatever I think I should do in my life, I'm just going to do this. I'll never compromise." And then he was giving this class again after some 20, 30 years later, remembering what had happened when he was young. And then he said, "Well, that man was right. You will be forced to compromise practically everything. So you better learn how to compromise to the extent that at least your Krishna consciousness remains intact. Or even when you compromise, that is compromise within the Krishna consciousness. Nothing's ever going to be like your mind thinks it's like this and this is how it should remain. No, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So you have to learn how to be flexible, how to bend and how to get back straight whenever required. So there are some basic principles that we keep straight. But then when it comes to certain details or exceptions, then you'll have to bend. And be happy about it. That's all. And be happy about it. Because again, whatever you do, you're doing for Krishna. It's not for your nonsense waste of time or something else. No? Material. You're doing it for Krishna. So just be happy with it. And understand that's your Krishna consciousness. Because externals and forms, they're not so important. What is important is the consciousness you're having while doing whatever you're doing. Either it is sadhana, either it is seva. And if you're doing something and you're not Krishna conscious, you're just complaining about it, then what is that? So learn how to compromise, learn how to bend, learn how to adjust. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I land early because I'm frightened with it today. I don't want to go forward. Not too early, something we discussed today. And so get together with it. Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. What should I have?